What is lactose intolerance? Lactose intolerance is a common digestive problem. It is caused by a decreased ability to digest lactose, which is a sugar found in dairy products. Symptoms typically start 30 minutes to several hours following eating or drinking milk-based products. Symptoms of lactose intolerance may include nausea, diarrhea, cramping abdominal pain, often around the belly button or lower, and abdominal bloating and gas. The intensity of symptoms correlates with the amount of lactose consumed. However, those affected vary widely in the amount of lactose they can tolerate before symptoms develop. What causes lactose intolerance? Most people who can't tolerate dairy lack a digestive enzyme, called lactase. Its function is to break down lactose in the small intestines. Without the presence of lactase, lactose remains intact and moves on to the colon. Bacteria in the colon break down the lactose, producing fatty acids and gases, causing bloating, gas, and diarrhea. But I never had any problems as a kid. Why now? As you get older, your body naturally produces less lactase. The condition is therefore more likely to appear in adults, and the older you get, the more likely it is that you'll discover you're lactose intolerant. The prevalence of lactose intolerance varies between regions. The condition is more common in Asia, parts of Africa, and South America, where up to 90% of the population is affected. Another form of lactose intolerance, also known as secondary lactose intolerance, is caused by an injury to the small intestine. This form can occur in both infants and lactase-persistent adults, and is generally reversible. It may be caused by gut infection, chronic inflammatory bowel disease, or celiac disease. Congenital lactose intolerance is a very rare form of lactose intolerance. It occurs when there is no lactase produced by the small intestine from birth. It's a genetic disorder, and both parents have to pass the gene on to their child. How is lactose intolerance diagnosed? If a person suspects that they are lactose intolerant, they can keep a diary that lists the foods and drinks they consume and any symptoms that arise. This helps them and their physician work out which foods are causing the symptoms. Most doctors recommend that people try a lactose-free diet for a period to see if symptoms improve. Commonly used tests to detect lactose intolerance are hydrogen breath test, lactose tolerance test, and stool acidity test. During the hydrogen breath test, a patient is asked to drink a lactose-containing beverage. When lactose can't be digested well, it passes into the colon. Bacteria in the colon break down some of the lactose, producing gas such as hydrogen and methane. Hydrogen and methane produced by bacteria can be detected on the patient's expired air with the breath analyzer. High levels of hydrogen or methane in breath indicate that the person may be lactose intolerant. Like the hydrogen breath test, lactose tolerance blood test requires a person to drink a liquid with lactose. Blood samples are taken several times over a few hours to measure how much glucose is in the blood. Normally, when lactose reaches the digestive system, the lactase enzyme breaks it down into glucose and galactose. If there is no lactase, lactose is not completely broken down and the blood glucose level does not rise. If the blood glucose level doesn't rise, this means that the body isn't properly digesting lactose, and a diagnosis of lactose intolerance is confirmed. The stool acidity test is usually performed on infants or small children, as they're not eligible for other tests. A physician takes a stool sample to see if lactose is breaking down properly in the system. Digestion of lactose by bacteria in the colon is, like explained before, a sign of lactose intolerance. During bacterial digestion of lactose, the lactic acid is created, which can be detected in stool. Lactose intolerance can't be prevented and there isn't a cure for it. But it can be managed. Limiting the intake of lactose to a level that can be tolerated is the primary way of managing the symptoms of lactose intolerance. Most lactose-intolerant people can tolerate up to 12 grams of lactose in one serving, which translates to 1 large cup or 250 milliliters of milk. Lactase-deficient individuals vary in the amount of lactose they can tolerate, and some report that their tolerance varies over time, depending on health status. High lactose products that individuals with lactose intolerance need to watch out for are milk, including condensed and evaporated milk, heavy cream and sour cream, ice cream, and cheese, such as cottage and ricotta cheese and some cheese spreads. What about yogurt? Most yogurts contain bacteria that can help break down lactose. Afterwards, the intestines don't have as much to digest themselves. Therefore, people with lactose intolerance often find yogurt much easier to digest than other dairy products. Lactose is also used as an additive to maintain structure and consistency of the food. As such, lactose is found in foods like margarines, processed meats, like sausages, hot dogs and pâtés, sliced breads or toast, protein supplements, like powders and bars, breakfast cereals, potato chips, and even beers. Some medication may also contain lactose. Lactose as an additive may be labeled as casein, caseinate, whey, lactoserum, milk solids and modified milk ingredients. What are some of the milk alternatives a lactose-intolerant person can consume? Lactose-reduced or lactose-free milks are widely available on the market. They contain the same essential nutrients such as protein, calcium and other minerals and vitamins as the regular milk but without lactose. Dairy could be replaced with plant-based substitutes, which are inherently lactose-free. Commonly used plant milks are almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, rice milk, and coconut milk. When lactose avoidance is not possible, or on occasions when a person chooses to consume such items, then supplements that contain lactase may be used. They are usually administered in the form of tablets or drops. The tablets can be taken just before a meal, or the drops can be added to a carton of milk.